So Tim, what are we going to be looking at with regards to Roman Catholicism and Mother Mary today?
Okay, today what we're going to focus on is the perpetual virginity of Mary. And it's important for us to define what we mean by that. All people who claim to be Christians typically would agree that Mary was a virgin at Christ's conception, that she remained a virgin until Christ was born. And the scriptural support for that is that Matthew 1:18, Luke 1:27 to 34. These are the ones that talk about the Old Testament prophesied that a virgin shall be with child. And Luke 1:27 to 34 is when the angel Gabriel visited with Mary and announced that she was going to be having the Christ child. And she responded that, how can this be, since I do not know a man? So the position from scriptures is that Mary was a virgin when she conceived. And as the scriptures also say later, Joseph did not know her until after Christ was born. And so we know that she remained a virgin until Christ was born. Now, what's important to understand about the Roman Catholic view of the virginity of Mary is that they believe that she was a virgin before Christ was born, then remained a virgin throughout her whole life, and that is that she didn't have any other children. And then finally, that, and this is the one that we're really going to focus on today, is that they believe that she remained a virgin during Christ's birth. That is, so there's prepartum, which is prior to Christ's birth, postpartum, which is after Christ's birth, and then there's the virginity in partu, which is during the delivery of Christ. And what's important to understand at this point is that Roman Catholics believe that when Mary delivered Christ, her physical virginity was not compromised. In other words, there was no opening of the womb, there was no tearing of the flesh, that Jesus miraculously came out completely without compromising Mary's physical virginity. And we're going to really focus on that today, because that's a very important part of our study on Mary in this series, is that we have to ask, when did this idea come up that Mary remained a virgin even in childbirth? And what we'll find is that this idea that she remained a virgin even in childbirth, it actually comes from a 2nd century document called the Proto-Evangelium of James, or the Proto-Gospel of James, and it is not canonical and it's not apostolic. And in fact, I would suggest that it's even Gnostic, because it actually has Jesus just coming through Mary in a flash of light and just showing up in her arms without anything happening to Mary. And it's almost, what we'll find is some of the early church writers consider that to be a docetic or a Gnostic position, and that is that this idea that Jesus was just a phantom, and this idea that he could pass through Mary without compromising her virginity suggested the Gnostic position that he was just a phantom to begin with, and he never really took on a body. And when we get to Tertullian, we're going to have him arguing against the position that Jesus was just a phantom by accentuating the fact that she did suffer in childbirth and there was tearing of the flesh when Christ was born, because Christ's birth was perfectly natural. But so that's where we are. We're not going to focus a lot on prepartum, because everybody's going to agree to that. Although there are people out there that claim that, well, maybe Mary wasn't even a virgin prior to Christ's birth and prior to conception, but we won't go there. The scripture is very clear on this, that Mary was a virgin when she conceived.